Hello, hello. It's our previously postponed class about Armageddon, the movie class. So let's start from the plot, from the story itself. What is the story about? Vasant, can you start? I know that you started watching this movie.
Yes, I watched the first 20 minutes of the movie, so I can trigger the summary now. In this movie, there was some anomaly happened in the space, and an asteroid, a bunch of asteroid, I think, started to attack, started to fall on the Earth, and it's mostly on the New York, and the U.S. government decided to destroy the asteroid, and they started to employ some people. So that's so you people can continue with that.
So they found out that big, huge asteroid is going to the Earth, and it's going to destroy the Earth, right? Our planet, because of huge amount of dust. It will prevent sunlight to reach the Earth, and every nature, everything is going to die. It was a hypothesis. I don't know how it's how is it truth or not, and they have to find a way to struggle with that. So, as far as I understand, one plan was it's big enough to just bomb it. We don't have this technology, I think. So they have to make it another way. Jart, what way?
So the American government asked a group of drillers. The head of the boss of them is Bruce Willis, and they are very good at drilling to find oil. So they need to drill inside this asteroid to put an atomic bomb. So if the atomic bomb is inside of the asteroid, they will have the chance to destroy the asteroid, to split it into halves and avoid the collision against Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's curious is this rain of meteorites, but that was logical because one meteorite can break into our atmosphere, but not so many at the same time. I think that must be almost impossible, and it doesn't have any sense that many smaller asteroids or meteorites is like an attack to the Earth, like a planned attack, something nonsensical to me.
So as I got it, they need drill team just because of that, to divide this in two big parts, not to make a blast on surface and provide a lot of small details, but they want to divide it to two parts, and that way, I don't know, change the direction of them, so the Earth will be saved. Okay, what else? What we missed? Diana,
I have one question.
Please. Vasant, please.
What is the difference between a meteorite and asteroid? Is there anything special?
We have three terms. An asteroid is usually bigger than a meteor. We have three terms for meteors, which is confusing. So I'll explain what they are. In space, an asteroid, if it's a little smaller, we would call it a meteoroid. Once a meteoroid or asteroid hits our atmosphere, we call it a meteor, and it starts glowing red and getting hot. Usually they burn up. If they're small enough, meteors burn up in the sky. They never hit the Earth. If they hit the Earth and land, the rock we call a meteorite. So meteorites make it to the Earth and survive. Meteors burn up in the sky. So usually meteor showers are small things that come down and burn up, and you see it as a flash of light, and we call them shooting stars. So an asteroid is just a very large meteor, basically.
Gerard?
And in our solar system, we have a belt of asteroids between Mars and Jupiter. There is like a ring of asteroids. Maybe Teacher Lee can explain us something more about that.
It's just a bunch of rocks. Some of the asteroids are big enough we've given them names. Ceres is one of the biggest asteroids in orbit. Most of them are too small to have names, but we think that maybe there used to be a planet there and something made it explode or something, and the rocks all got gathered in an orbit, so we're not sure.
Right. So it's possible that we have another yours and it just exploded by another astronaut because they don't have a Bruce Willis. So they just belt, how we call it, asteroid belt now.
Yeah, just asteroid belt.
So what about comet? Is it another celestial body, right? How we call it?
Comet we call comets dirty snowballs. They're mostly ice. So asteroids are rock. Comets are ice. And as it approaches the sun, the ice melts and gives off water vapor. Mm-hmm. And the water vapor is so light, the sunlight actually pushes the water vapor away from the meteoroid. So the tail always points away from the sun, no matter what direction the comet is around the sun. The tail always points away because it's so light, the sunlight pushes the tail on the opposite side. So it looks funny when a comet's going around the sun because the tail always points away from the Earth.
Yeah. And I know that some comets has a name, right? Have names, and some of them known from ancient times because they are visible. They are easily to distinct in the sky. Halley, how we pronounce it?
Halley's comet was a famous one. Mm-hmm. Comets are in orbit too, like a planet, but they usually, the plane of the system is flat. They're usually going this way. So usually they come around about every 75 years. There's different ones. Some visit every 75 years, maybe some every couple of 100 years. But they're in an orbit around our solar system too, so they keep coming back.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think I read somewhere that there are comets that visit different solar systems. So just they have a inter-solar systems, how we call it, direction, trajectory, right?
If they're not in orbit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know.
Maybe space, yeah.
Maybe I'm not sure, but I think I read that. So we have comets, we have asteroids, 3 types of meteorites, and I always think that just a British and American spelling, different spelling. I never saw that it's a different motion.
Yeah, I don't know why we give them different names, but we do.
Right. So what else? Planets, stars. That's all?
Those are the main ones, yeah.
Okay.
Asteroids, comets, meteors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so back to the movie. So we have a huge asteroid. It looks like a rock, right? But for some reason, it's not a big one piece, right? It's how we call it, some debris around him.
Yeah. Something very weird.
Yeah. Shower
of asteroids, and we discovered it occasionally, right? Just because of first, how we call it, avant-garde. No, not English.
Yeah. Avant-garde. That's right, avant-garde.
Because of small stoners who goes in the avant-garde of this shower. So we have some time to think about that because of that. So what else we missed? We totally missed the romantic story of this movie.
Yeah.
Jana, can you teach us what we missed?
I don't know if my sound is okay.
Now,
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, better now, yes. Yeah, so the story to glue it all together, all those, bombast pieces of information. So without the romantic story, nothing to watch,
Yes, it's 2 hours long movie, right? 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5, I guess. Yes, it's a long movie. And some scenes are very pompous, like when people are just all sitting there praying, or they are just listening to the news, all of them at once and in different parts of the world. I actually really liked the episode when the Paris was almost gone. Yeah, this how to call this cathedral. Montmartre, yeah, was gone. So all those beautiful buildings were gone.
You mean those sculptures on the roof,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So this is very beautiful scene. Yes, a lot of people died. Yeah. So and at the end we are just all happy and hugging each other. Just it's a very nice movie. I really enjoyed it. I remember I enjoyed it even more when I was younger. I watched it in 2000, I guess. So it was interesting. Well, what can I tell you about the romantic story? Actually, it's a very simple one. Yeah, a girl living on an oil rig, having nobody to fall in love with except one guy who was her age. So no choice. Bruce Willis was absolutely right. You've got no choice. That's why you picked that one. So yeah, she picked the guy and they fell in love. So that's it.
Да? Вы, пожалуйста, меня извините, я могу только через час, наверное, перезвонить, если...
Typical father jealousy. Father thinks the boy's not good enough for his daughter, so he wants his daughter to find someone better. that kind of jealousy, possessiveness kind of story.
Well, I don't know anything about the father's point of view. Teacher Lee, you can tell me about that more, probably.
I think it's easy. So so if you touch my girl, I just shoot you. That's
Yes, and he did actually. He tried to kill him a couple of times. Well, probably he was not, really serious about that. Yeah, he told that he wanted just to wound him, just to shoot him in the leg or something.
So I think that the life on this oil station just too, how we call it, too boring, right? They don't have opera, so they need to they need to find some enjoyment in their life, and they do this race with shooting just because of that, I think.
Sure, but they have some visitors. I was very surprised that they had visitors on that oil rig. Just it was very interesting. So the visitors come from time to time, so they have some attraction.
Yes, but we don't know the exact period of visitors. Maybe 10 years.
Sure. Yeah, and they have Greenpeace boat, just circling around the oil rig, which is also very nice.
Okay, and since we're speaking about that, I will pose my question from our question list. So it's why drillers must be misfits, like in this movie? Why it's necessary? So that those guys who work with oil should be such misfits. What do you think?
Because it's nice for the film. That the film adapts its needs. It's not anything is real in this movie. Many things are not real.
Absolutely.
But it looks nice. Some misfits who must save the earth, the world. So I think that's the point of that.
Okay, so it's not based on real story, you think?
Of course, yes. It happened 2 weeks ago. Yeah. How can you miss that? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But for me, this team more looks like a pirates. Looks like a team of pirate ship. Not it's like a team of corporation.
Yeah.
And I like it the moment when military guys comes and some, I forgot his name, some assistants of Bruce Willis try to say, she never told me how old she is.
Yeah.
So, but I think there is only one lady on this station.
Well, but they sometimes they just come to land, I guess, you know, to some port. You know, they can actually, they have some days off.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Probably.
And you know, our workers in Russia who work with the same specialty, if I can say so, who oil, who drills, and so on, they look similar. They are misfits. They go to big towns once a year on vacation, and they spend their times like in the movie. So in this bar and throwing money and something like this. So in this regard, movie is kind of plausible. So I can believe it. And it explains why they so nervous when military guys come.
It's impossible to have a normal life, you know, having a wife and children, because imagine a wife living alone from her husband. So I don't know, this relationship wouldn't last. It's impossible, I think.
Yeah.
Once I read in one newspaper, I forgot exactly the name, but it was an article about Canadian drillers. I don't know what's the name for this profession, who work for oil corporation. And they said that company offers them $1 million for 10 years. Or you can get it proportionally by the years. But most of the people sign this 10 years contract because they like the number, the amount, $1 million. I will work for 10 years and I'll get my dream. So it's a trick, I think. And then they have to work this 10 years or lose all their money. So maybe it explains how they get there. Okay, getting away from the station, let's go to our questions. So, do you have any superstitions about asteroids? Vasant, in India, do you have any superstitions about asteroids?
Yes, because mostly we are religious people. So, if you see such a meteorite burning on the sky, and something bad will happen in your life. So that's the superstition we have. If
you don't make a wish,
burns on the sky. Yeah, no, just look away. Do not look at that meteorite, right? Burning meteorite.
Okay, look away.
Gerard, and you?
Yeah, when you see meteorites, we make a wish.
Yeah. We also make a wish.
Now during the summer, it's very easy to see them, especially in August. Now it's a good time.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's only about meteorites. It's about we call it fallen stars. If something fallen in the sky, you can make a wish. You can make a...
What else are falling from your sky? Tell me.
I don't know.
Rain.
Yeah, rain.
No. Hey.
No. But you're not making a wish, you know, just enough. Snow is enough for you, okay.
But do you think it's a meteorite always? Because I'm not sure. Sometimes it's like it's far, far away, something like this, like it's in far, far galaxy. No, it's impossible.
I don't know. Probably Teacher Lee is making some, you know, like this background image then. So something is falling from your sky, so which is not a meteor. I don't know what can fall from your sky.
Usually meteors or shooting stars or falling stars, usually they burn up very fast. They're just like a and they're gone. If it lasts a long time, it's really big.
Well, maybe a comet or something like that.
No, yeah, comet, they're far out in space. Yeah. You can see them go slowly across the sky. Yeah. But if you see something like a fireball streaking across the sky, that's either a very large meteorite or something else, a plane going down in a fireball or something, yeah.
I think it also depends on the angle of entrance to the atmosphere.
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a meteorite like a couple of years ago falling somewhere in Russia, just like last year or 2 years ago.
Yes,
like
yes. 2 years ago we have a meteorite in Chelyabinsk, in Chelyabinsk, and I've seen this. I have seen it.
It was a pretty big one. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was a big one. Honestly, I was thinking it's a moon or something when I first glanced on it, because it was huge and it's very bright, but it's moving fast. So that was unusual. So I was thinking it's an American plane with some rockets or something like that.
Okay, so that's nice that nobody pushed the button, just in case, Yeah.
Yes, right.
So how big was it?
It was huge. It was huge. Yes, it's landed in few. I'm not sure about numbers, but it landed far away from the town. It's like hundreds kilometers, maybe 200-300 kilometers. But all the buildings in town lose their windows.
Right. Yeah.
And many walls were damaged, and we can hear the blast. We can hear the sound. But it's far. It's like 500 kilometers from me, but we can hear the sound. So it must be a massive thing. Right,
and that's really nice of this thing, to fall down in the forest, not on town or something, because it was.
Yes, but it's fell down in the forest, and now its place has how's it, lake, a bog or something. It's underwater, and they cannot reach it, so they know the territory when it's landed, but they cannot reach the kernel of it or something, because the territory in that place, it's how we call it, boggy, too much water, so it just sunk. It's just
okay. Yes, it's a swamp. Yes, it was a swamp.
Okay, that's all what I know. And as far as I know, we don't have any negative superstitions about that. So it was just entertainment for us for weeks.
Sure.
We discussed it.
I think meteorites like to hit Russia because at the beginning of the 20th century, a big one.
Yes, Tungus meteorite was a big thing, right?
But I think it's just because of territory.
Yes,
a little more chances.
You just have a lot of space. That's why a lot of meteorites. Yes.
Teacher Lee?
I remember when that meteor came down. So because Russian cars, everyone has a dash cam. So you can search on the internet for Russian dash cams and meteors, and you'll see videos where people just happen to catch that meteor on their dash cam, and they kind of looked at it in the sky like, "Oh, big fireball, okay," and they just keep driving.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's surprisingly. When I watch this on YouTube, I expect more emotions. But honestly, I don't have emotions myself when I watched it. I just went home and tried to find on the internet what happened. And at that moment, when I came home, it was zero information. It's just nothing. And only a few hours later, I can read on the internet that it was a meteorite and so on. Before that, I was thinking, what is that? Why it's silence in the newspapers?
So nobody informed people about that. Nobody, because actually I think that we knew that something is going to fall. Like the meteorite here, because I don't remember exactly now. Okay.
No, Diana, I'm sure that not, because it was a big surprise for everyone. Not a mystery, but surprise.
Oh, okay. Okay, surprise, not a mystery. So, yeah.
And something to realize too is asteroids are just rocks. They're dark, so they're difficult to see in space. So usually telescopes don't have a chance to see them until they hit the Earth's atmosphere, unless they're very big.
Right. Okay.
Yes, and it's a scary thing if you think more about it, because this asteroid was big enough to destroy a town. Sure.
The point, you know, the movie, I have the sense that they're thinking like the Earth is still in the space, and the asteroid comes to Earth, like, you know, but the Earth is moving around the sun, so it's not that. So it could be very difficult to calculate the impact.
Yeah.
But they know the magic. They know the magic. You know, if you have a computer, if you have some mass education, it's not as isn't as hard.
Yeah, but that's the feeling they want to give. They want to give the feeling that the Earth is still, and the asteroid is about to impact the Earth. But I know many Americans don't know that the Earth spins around the sun.
So
Probably not.
Okay, there are other planets, you know, like in the solar system. So no other planets were hit or damaged or anything. So just the Earth. Earth is the target. Okay.
But it's possible. It's I think it's possible. But answering Gerard's question, I can remember that one day, one TV show interviewed Russian football team, and they asked them, "Is yours rotating over the sun, or it's opposite? Sun rotated over yours?" And all have anonymous
decision. Opinion, yes.
Opinion, yes. But their profession is different, you know. They don't think about sun and Earth.
Yeah.
So the movie is very logical, very logical. Let's.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking about logic and the movie, I did not get one thing in the movie. Did not get it at all. So can you remember this guy with a gun in the final part? Why he tried to shoot Bruce, and what is happening there in this scene? I did not understand this.
That's the U.S. government, okay? The military always has a backup plan, okay? In this case, they called it the second protocol, okay? So their backup plan was, if the mission fails, then just blow up the thing on the surface of the asteroid and hope. So this military guy decided they weren't going to make it. The mission was going to fail. So his backup plan, his secret orders were, if you can't do it the right way, just blow the thing up and let's hope. So he was just going to blow it up on the surface of the asteroid as a last resort to try to save the Earth. But in this case, it wouldn't have worked, and it would have prevented them from succeeding. So that's what that was about. He was going to go ahead and basically abort the mission and blow it up and hope.
I see. So they have a plan one, this drill team, right? Plan B, it's a remote
detonation
control. Remote control, so remote order to blast, and the plan C, it's this secret guy in the team, right? Who will blast this thing in case of danger. Okay, looks logical, but but this secret guy failed. I think he should not take the gun. He should just press the button secretly. It was more efficient.
Yeah. Well, he was trying. Well, he tried to. They don't forget the military took over the space center on Earth, and they did remotely activate the bomb. And Bruce Willis saw that, so he was trying to stop it, and that guy had to pull out the gun saying back away. So that's kind of what happened there. So they couldn't stop the bomb unless they could convince this guy, we can get the mission done. So they had to convince him to disarm the bomb. And he got some time because the Space Center people tried to sabotage the military's signal by blocking the signal for a little while. So it was good guys against bad guys for a little while.
Did you notice that in most films, the American army doesn't look clever? They always want to start wars. They always, you know, they don't do the best thing to do to solve a problem. They only, I know, they want to act crazily.
Well, they follow the order of the president, you know, and that's what they have to do, to follow the orders. That's what army is for, right?
But they have ideas. They always try to convince the president to push the buttons.
The president, it's hard to convince the president, you know, just, yeah, okay, it's easy to convince the president, you know, the president wants to be safe, yes, I don't know, so that's why when they found out that this drill machine was damaged, right? It was right before this fiance guy, yeah, Ben Affleck came to rescue. So, yeah, so the president decided to try, yeah, at least to try to save the Earth and his own ass. So that's why the president was kind of nervous. So I think.
I understand what you're talking about, that military guys doesn't look smart, but it's not their job, you know, it's not their job. Their job is discipline, their job is obedience, and so on. And the same in Russian movies, you know, if in Russian movies the military guy can sit on the chairs, he's smart enough. It's, you know, it's probably more than you can expect.
Oh boy!
And I like this. Sans, please.
Yes, my point is, it's a funny thing. If the protagonist and other people are both are dumber, then the only way to show the only way to portray the protagonist as a smarter man is showing the other people is the dumbest people. So
yeah, right.
I think this works.
About comparison, and if you can remember, it's a very common pattern in movies. When you have a protagonist and near to him we have some young silly girl, you know, who is just screaming all the time, asking what you are going to do, why it's happened, so please explain me why it's gravitation works, and so on. So it's very common pattern. Gerard?
I wanted to ask Teacher Lee whether this illness that appears in the movie, Space Dementia, you know, Steve Buscemi's character gets a little bit crazy. Does that exist?
I've never heard of space dementia.
I think they made that.
Underwater, we have nitrogen narcosis, which makes you hallucinate or think irrationally. But I've never heard of it in space. I think they might have made that up. Now, oxygen deprivation, where your brain's not getting enough oxygen, yes, that affects airplane pilots. But yeah, this space dementia, I think he just cracked under psychological pressure. he just lost it.
I think it's possible, you know, because the absence of gravity, some other circumstances can trigger something in the body, in the mind. Okay, so I think we can watch some pictures with labels, and then later we can return. Can you see pictures? Okay, so let's start from the first one. It's a team of misfits with the fancy costumes, and I don't understand why the movie is so long. Why we need to see all these preparations, and it's kind of how we call this thing when it's unnecessary long, Teacher Lee.
We just call it filler material.
Okay, filler material. Okay, so I don't know. I don't understand why this sense of when they training was very important, because they give nothing, in my opinion.
I think it's character development. They're trying to make you care about the people before they die. You know, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one. I was going to ask about this helmet, about the name of this mirror.
Yeah.
And it's a faceplate, right? Faceplate.
Yeah, and it can go up and down sometimes.
And how about visor? Is it not?
Sometimes it's called a visor, especially a sun visor. Sometimes you can raise the sun visor inside. So
astronauts and pilots usually have a few layers of this faceplate, right? One for sun, one for wind, for
yes. Sometimes, yes. Yeah.
I see. So it's the very, very first scene when we get this catastrophe from small avant-garde of rocks, right? Okay, another one.
And I have a question. So when you have this, actually, it was very interesting for me to hear him scream, you know. If it is damaged, if this visor was damaged and he just starts screaming, so could we hear the scream? So if there is no,
obviously.
Yeah.
Outside of his suit, you can't hear anything because sound can't travel in space.
Sure, yeah.
The radio, they can hear him over the radio.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if he's got a radio, they can hear him scream over the radio. But outside of his suit, where there's vacuum, sound cannot travel. So if something were to blow up right in front of his face, he wouldn't hear a sound.
Oh, okay.
So the sound, what is the sound? It's a wave of the atmosphere, right? Wave of the gas.
Airwaves.
Airwaves. So these airwaves exist in his throat, in this mouth, right? In his mouth, because
inside his suit there's air. Yeah.
Okay, but the suit was damaged. There was no air anymore.
But he still has air inside him, right?
So what?
Inside him, but if his suit was, if his faceplate was broke and he had no air and it was open vacuum, he would make no sound.
Right. It cannot travel.
Yes.
Right.
It cannot travel in the vacuum. So that's why the radio cannot catch anything. So because it cannot travel in the space if it is damaged.
But I think you miss the small detail. You know, this gas can reach this microphone. You know.
How? How can it reach?
Because vacuum does not happen in no time. Doesn't happen in no time. Gas is emanated for some time.
But
it's a slow leak. A slow leak, he could still speak, but it,
Yeah.
I mean this sound of blast of something. It's emanating this gas and it's registered on the microphone. So for a short amount of time, when this gas still moves, you can hear this.
But I think, imagine, Ivan, imagine that you are from the point of view of the camera, that the camera has a microphone. I think from the point of view of the camera, you wouldn't hear anything.
I see what you're talking about. But his microphone, it's just near his mouth.
So the microphone should be in his throat, basically, you know, for them to hear.
Yeah, because you know, between microphone and his throat, there is no vacuum yet. It will be later.
Why?
No, vacuum.
It was gone. The glass was gone, and he's still screaming for some time. It's just.
It's a Hollywood effect.
Yeah.
No. Guys, gas does not disappear in no time. You know why gas is here? Why it's moving?
Gas cannot reach the microphone in the outer space, in the vacuum. It cannot. It just does not. I don't know.
Look on Teacher Lee's microphones. He's you know.
But if there's no air here, it
right.
This air comes from your mouth. It's
a Hollywood thing.
What about fire? What about fire in the space? Fire needs oxygen.
That's right.
From inside, it has to have oxygen source from inside, you know, the fire, not from the outside. Yeah. When Star Trek first came out on TV, it showed the Enterprise going whoosh.
Yes.
And people said, "There's no whoosh in outer space." And they said, "Yeah, we did that for effect, because if it just went, it didn't have any impact." Hollywood.
Silent movie.
Right.
Very silent movie about outer space.
But remember, Alien, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next picture, Diana, what you can see
Yeah.
here?
I can see an angry father here. And his mate who is trying to calm him down and failing. Yeah, and a lot of pipes, different pipes and valves, and this is an oil rig, and this is huge, so very, very complicated thing. So what is that? I don't know. It must have cost him a fortune, you know, just to have all these floating. That's a big thing. So we can have valve handles. Okay, this is a valve handle, right? And pipes, insulate. Yeah. This one that you can turn. So we have insulated steam pipes. Okay. Ball cap. Just a cap. Okay, ball cap.
What about firing in the circumstances where is oil everywhere?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting choice, I would say. I would choose machete, you know, in this case. So something less fiery. Right. So not very clever move, I guess. Salt pellets? Maybe salt pellets.
So why they need steam, teacherly? For what?
Well, don't forget they're on the middle of the ocean, so they have no electricity, they have no heat, they have no power. So probably they have a oil boiler or a gas boiler that generates heat, that boils water, that makes steam, and the steam turns a turbine and makes electrical power. So it's just like a power station. It's a small power station. They use steam to turn a turbine to make electricity.
I see. Okay, next one. Jart, it's for you.
Okay, so this is a tower in the platform. You can see a ladder. I don't know. There is not much to say about it. You know, it's everything neat and ugly picture.
The personnel cage. You've seen the shark cage underwater, right?
Yeah.
So this is like a cage above the ground, so you can't fall. So there's a cage that it's like an elevator, probably that can go up and down. Okay.
Well, I can say
the top. What's on the top of this platform?
I can't see what's up there. I don't know. Maybe that's their lookout station.
No, I think it's a pipe. You know, they are drilling, and they have to put long pipes into yours. So it's a device to hold this pipe.
Could be the drill shaft. Yeah. Maybe.
And I like this chains. You know, chains on valve hand. So it doesn't look like a 21st century technology.
But this movie is 20 years old.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. This chains doesn't look like a reasonable solution.
Well, some valves are actually up in the air, and you can't get to them easily to operate them without a ladder. So a lot of times you'll have some kind of a remote operator. In this case, in nuclear plants, we use mechanical linkage. I'll turn something down here, and a long linkage will go up and turn it up there. But here, it looks like they just pull a chain to make it go one way or the other way.
I see. Okay, Vasans, can you see the picture? Can you talk?
Yes.
Please, just what you can see.
I can see the rocket, and I think it's probably for the warhead to take the warhead to the asteroid, and there's a water supply tank and a huge main building, and semi-truck trailer and fences, a road, ground, and a parking lot. Yeah, that's it.
A few things I have, how to say, pick my attention. The first one is a strange ball on the left side. What do you think? What is that? Water supply tank on the top, just for pressure.
Right. In America, we store water for the cities in tanks, and we elevate them above the ground, so the water pressure, when you open your valve in your kitchen, that water pressure is what pushes the water out.
And another
all
question.
Our water tanks are up high.
Another question. We can see some slanted wall behind this truck trailer. What is that? Is it a wall or some radar? Something like this.
Looks like some triangular structure. I don't know what that is. Don't know. Yeah, I named what I could recognize.
I see. So another one. It's a room for training, not for training, for examination. I think it's some psycho examination. They're trying to find sane person in this team. I think they failed.
Yeah.
Okay, so door jump. It's
what with the walls, just what's why are they all spiky? I don't know.
Because of sound.
Soundproof.
Why they're spiky, I don't know. It's what we call an acoustic wall. Its purpose is to break up sound waves so there's no echo, so it's a very quiet room.
Okay.
The shape, I don't know. That's a stupid shape to me.
So jump is a frame when you, what holds the door.
Right. Window jam, door jam, window frame. Yeah.
Okay, new word for me. And what about Rubik's Cube? Did you play it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never did.
At the beginning of the 80s.
It was very popular here. We have some books about how to make it right, make it fast.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I picked this picture because of Rubik's cube.
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 Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Diana, it's for you. Do you like this picture?
Oh yes, very much. Yeah. So I can see two airplanes, right?
Or jets.
Jets, right? Okay. So what can I see here? Okay, rudder. Yeah, its tail is called rudder. Okay, and the wings and the nose of the plane. Okay, so what do you call canopy? What is canopy? It's like the upper side of the plane?
That's the glass. That's the glass. The windshield, basically.
Okay.
And it can blow off if they need to eject.
Okay, I understand. So it is called canopy.
Yeah.
Okay, like over the bed.
Right.
Something. Okay.
Correct.
So it must be transparent, right? Or not?
Yes, it's just a clear piece of glass. It's a big window. Just like an airplane has the glass windshield, a jet has a windshield, but it goes over his head so he can look up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking about these engines, it's reactive engines, right? And they have intake port and how they call
exhaust.
Exhausts. Okay.
Intake and exhaust.
Just exhaust or exhaust port, teacher?
Say again?
Just exhaust or exhaust port?
You can say exhaust port is okay. Port's just an opening.
Okay.
Exhaust port. Now the tail. Okay. The tail, Diana, there's really two pieces on the tail. The tail itself is rigid.
Yeah.
But it has another part that can move like this.
Yes, I know.
That's the rudder. The rudder is the part that can move to make it turn.
Okay, I understand.
And how we call these rudders on the wings? It's the same, no? It's the same, no?
No, we give those a different name. Those are called ailerons.
Oh no, it's a long.
And we have and some jets have these ailerons behind the canopy, right?
Ailerons. Not that
brake.
I've ever seen. I've only seen them on the wings.
Okay. I was seeing some on behind the canopy. It was like they call it brake or air brake or something like this. Massive plate.
Those are you. Okay, that's called an air brake.
Air brake. Okay.
Okay.
And what about those clouds? Could we call them stratocumulus?
Higher level clouds are usually called stratocumulus. They have a certain look. I'm not good at cloud identification, but yeah, stratocumulus are high altitude clouds. Yeah.
Good.
How about that flaps? Do you call wing flaps something like that? No, it's not flaps.
There are flaps on the wing,
but not probably on jet planes. No.
Well, there are, but flaps are only used during landing.
Okay.
An airplane wing, on the back side, if this is the airplane wing, on the back side there are ailerons that look like a horizontal rudder.
Yeah. Okay.
So that helps the plane go up and down.
Right.
Also on the back edge, there's flaps. Now the flaps only go down.
Okay.
So when you're landing, you need a little extra lift so you don't fall down and crash. So, but you lower these flaps when you're landing, and the air hitting those flaps gives you a little extra up push.
Okay.
So you can come down more softly.
Okay.
The air brakes or air flaps, when they go up, the wings also have an air brake that goes up. And what that does is when they're trying to stop, the air hits those air brakes, and that air resistance helps slow down the airplane. So the wing has ailerons, flaps, and air brakes.
Okay. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, but I must run.
Okay.
See you.
Okay. See you later on.
See you.
Okay, let's do a few more and finish on this. Okay, the scene of, how we call it, saying goodbye. Vasans, can you describe it?
This scene is new for me, but I will try to recite what is written on the picture. And there is a screen door and a lady folding arms, and what is the gesture? I forgot the name of this gesture.
This?
Yes.
Crossing your arms.
Okay, crossing your arms. So what about poker face?
Poker face?
Yeah, poker face.
That's when you aren't smiling.
Okay.
I think when you cannot read any emotions on your face, right?
Right.
You just solid piece.
This is my happy face. This is my sad face. This is my angry face.
Okay. And it was like ex-wife or something, I think, right? In the movie.
Yeah.
Separated or divorced, we're not sure.
Yes, I would say too happy for a usual wife. It must be ex-wife. Okay. Okay. So, Chichili, anything special about the slides? Choose one what you like.
If you want to go to the last one, the very last one, you might see that on the movies a lot. You'll see a bunch of jets flying together, and one jet will fly off. That's like a funeral ceremony. We call that the missing man formation. When someone dies in battle and he's lost and we can't get his body back, we'll have the jets will fly this, and that jet that flies away symbolizes the missing man that is lost to us. So that's how this ended at the end, was they showed that one jet veering off, and that was to honor Bruce Willis, who died in battle and his body couldn't be recovered.
Oh, okay.
I see. Well,
so
as far as
a military honor.
As far as I know, we don't have anything like this.
Don't have that.
I cannot recall. Okay, good to know. Now we know more about military rituals in US.
And the Russian guy, I'm not sure why, but